Hey guys, welcome to the Make It Epic Wedding podcast. And what a treat we have for you guys today, Matt. I'm so excited for this one. We have got Meg and Adrian. So if you don't know who they are literally the absolute legends. It was one of our first weddings we shot together, but it just really raised that vibe. It was just the most epic wedding. It's probably one of my most popular videos. I use it so often, and I know those photos are some of your favorite because you use it all over your website.
Oh man, I'm so excited for today's chat with Meg. She is such a beautiful human, and she really dives into what her micro wedding / elopement was and how it was still really special for her. And I think, at the end of the day, that's what we want to, reiterate to all of our couples and all the people listening is that, you can do things the way you want to do it. And fire out. Meg and Adrian, absolute bloody legends. And we had such a good time chatting with her today. She is awesome. And I cannot wait to dive into this episode.
It's really interesting because Meg and Adrian, they can talk from both perspectives, right? So they had an amazingly intimate, 20-person micro wedding, which was a wild party. It was hectic. But then they also had a 200-person wedding the next month. So they had both. So Meg can talk from both perspectives about micro weddings versus an actual wedding. So I think this is going to really offer a lot of value for, especially those couples out there that are thinking, which one should I do, or should I do both,
And she's a big advocate for both too, right? She was look, I love the big wedding, but it was hectic, but I am so very happy that I did the smaller wedding and I did it the way that I wanted to do it. And we had that time to really just enjoy it and take it in. And mind you, they partied legitimately till the sun came up, all night long. They went hard. And far out. It was such a good chat with her. And, just to, really let everybody know, Meg has a 4-month-old baby, so there is a few baby screamers in the background, but she's also living the dream, sitting on a boat in Hamilton Island while she did this podcast for us. I feel like
sipping on a cocktail
at 10:30 in the morning and living the dream. But look, we really appreciate her taking the time to chat with us, and we hope that it brings you guys a lot of value. So let's dive into this episode with Meg
and enjoy.
Hey guys, how are we? Meg, you're here, you're sitting on a boat, you're living the absolute bloody dream.
How exciting
and we are
is
so
this?
Jealous of this.
I also have a child, so don't be too jealous.
No, you are on a boat. You are literally sitting on a boat in Hamilton Island. That is hectic. But man, me and Tim are so excited that you are finally on this podcast. We, I think since day one, we were chatting, we were like, we need to get Meg on because your wedding was one of the first weddings that me and Tim shot together that we came away from. We were like, we need to do more stuff like this. And it was bloody sick.
And it was basically the start of the revolution, right? We're like, we are going to make this absolutely epic. But let's just paint a picture, right? So Meg's here on a boat and we can see her with amazing blue water behind her and soft white sand. Come on.
She's just living the dream, and she's got a little sneaky juice, sipping on a juice in her wine glass in the morning. How good.
Champagne and mango. But I've been up since 4 a.m, so this is my midday.
I will take that.
So good. Meg, look, before we get started, just to warm up, which I don't think we need to, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to quickly just do a couple of rapid fire questions for you that we didn't warn you about. They're very simple, so don't worry. And whatever pops into your mind first, go for it. So the first one is, what's your favorite date night option?
Ooh, anything with wine.
We'll get to that.
And these days I'd say just anything child-free, but just maybe some Mexican food.
Ooh, Mexican. Love that.
Ooh, amazing. And I know you are a pro-fesh TV editor, but what's your favorite TV show?
Ooh, I love Schitt's Creek.
Ooh.
And I'm rewatching The Office, which is a staple. I should really preface this entire podcast by saying that I have a serious case of baby brain. So even if I forget my husband's name, just ignore me.
That's right. As long as you don't forget your anniversary date, we're all good.
Unlike someone.
What is your favorite food?
Oh, spaghetti.
Love that.
Okay. And yes or no, coffee after 5?
Yes.
Well, you already know the answer to this because you literally just said it. But alcohol before 12.
I don't need to say anything.
As she sips a mojito. 9 o'clock in the morning. What about pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Ooh, sneaky.
I'm a Queenslander.
I'm a Queenslander. Say no more. All right, this can go anywhere. So if you were to buy an exotic pet, what would it be?
Oh, like a big cat. Or a monkey.
A monkey. So good. I mean, classic.
Adrian almost caters for that.
He's a big cuddly teddy bear. Don't call him a monkey. So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Meg, so much for jumping on the podcast. And as we said before, we have been super pumped to get you on. Ever since we started this, we're like, yes, we have to get Meg on. And look, your wedding was just like one of those ones where, I don't know, Matt and I were like just in our element. It was like so much fun. And we kind of just like, for me, it was like one of those first weddings as well where I just like did like the style that I wanted to like portray. So it was really one of those like films that I kind of just like went absolutely wild with. And that for me, like that started like a revolution. Hey, but tell us a little bit about yourself. So who are you? What do you do?
I'm Meg. I'm an alcoholic.
Welcome to AA.
That is such a good intro.
We're keeping this in.
Yes, 100%.
I'm a Queensland girl. Moved to Sydney in 2013. I was meant to be moving to America to chase the big TV dream, but I had a couple of months before I was going, and Mum and Dad were getting sick of me being in the house. So they said, go to Sydney, just practice being like interview for every job and practice getting rejected, which is the life in TV. And so, moved to Sydney and soon after met Adrian, which was a little early for my liking. So we broke up a little bit and then they brought us back together. And then I was done with my single days. And then I was like, all right, I'm ready for you.
Amazing. So tell us about this TV dream, right? So did it always start off with you wanting to be an editor or?
No, it was a hobby. And I left uni, I studied some business course, and so I left school, went to uni, studied some business course, and then was very uninspired and didn't show up to any of my lectures or tutorials, especially if they were past midday, actually, or before midday. So, I didn't show up to a lot of classes.
Is that the alcoholic coming out in you again?
Yeah, I think and I was also rowing coaching, so I had to be up at 4 a.m., but I'd often go straight from the regatta to rowing coach. So it's a lot of the alcoholism in me coming out. So I, in the last year of school, did all of the sports videos for everyone and did the end of the year video, and I just would spend all of my time on that rather than study. So I'm a bit of a slow learner, so it took me a couple of years to realize that I could turn this thing that I like doing into a career. Groundbreaking.
That sounds just like us, hey. I feel like me and Tim are a little bit similar, in a sense of we thought this was a hobby at the start, and then we ended up doing it full time, and so it's pretty cool to hear someone else in the same boat as us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember when you said you're a TV editor, and I'm like, oh no, what am I getting myself into?
we really should.
I'm the worst client.
We really should touch base on this part of this conversation and how this all came about it originally, because originally Meg booked me, and then she was like, oh, maybe we'll get video. And then she was like, have you got someone who'll just come and shoot only? That's it. And then I was like, oh, I've worked with this guy a few times. And I think this was a start of mine and Tim's relationship, so to speak, in the editing world sort of thing. So that was pretty funny. And I think there was a point in time where, Meg was like, I just need someone to come and edit the wedding. Oh, sorry, shoot the wedding, and I'll edit it myself.
I do not want anyone to touch it because, quite frankly, I didn't think that anyone could do a good job as me.
I remember the emails going back and forth, and I got like paragraph after paragraph, like just like your like request.
Yeah, no, I didn't want anyone touching it. And I remember the moment that everyone turned against me was I was about to walk down the aisle, and Tim stops me and says, "Meg, we've got a huge problem." And I was like, "Is Adrian here? Like, what's going wrong?" He said,
"Oh no,
I have to edit this wedding." I was like, "Okay, can we talk about this later?"
Because we hadn't even got to the ceremony yet, and me and Tim were just like, "This is the best day ever." It was so good.
Because didn't you got pulled over by the police?
Oh yeah, I got pulled over by the police. I was running late. Like I got I've never been late to a wedding before, and like we're on the way there, and like I was a good like 10 or 15 minutes in front of Meg, and then I got pulled over by the coppers, and they decided to do a breath test, a drug test, all these things. And I've literally got my cameras on my lap being like, I've got to go to a wedding. And yes, full massive stitch up. Yeah. Like, oh my
Matt's
goodness.
like, you have to hold it up. You have to hold it up. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to say Matt's late. So I'm gonna stop Meg, and we're gonna have a conversation about something.
We'll just talk about how amazing this is already. Oh my goodness. All right. We've definitely got off onto a bit of a tangent here, which is great. I love tangents. Obviously that's the whole preface behind our podcast. We get a bit stuck with the old tangents and stuff, but let's get back onto your wedding specifically. Meg, how long have you guys been married for now? So it's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been a while.
Yeah, it was February 21.
Amazing. So it's kind of like in the middle of that like COVID situation, realistically, wasn't it?
Big time. So the deal was that we were planning to get married in October 2020 at my parents' place in Brisbane. And then obviously the little spicy cough came and had something to say. And I knew pretty early on, I had a good feeling that like we weren't, even when it hit in March, that October wasn't going to be a go in Queensland. And so luckily I was able to kind of get my head around either postponing or coming up with a plan B pretty early. And yeah, as it played out, I was sick of the politicians playing their border wars, and we just decided, no bugger it, let's just have a mini wedding, a micro wedding with just family and just our bridal party. And that's how this came about.
And it was so bloody good too. Like it was probably like and like we'll get into this part of it soon, but just like FYI for anybody out there who's thinking about like eloping or doing like an intimate or micro wedding, and they're like worried about it not being a good time still. I got a message the next morning from Meg. Are we calling it morning? I don't really know, but I vividly remember waking up at like 7 the next morning and having a message from you at like 5:45 that morning. So like 5:45 a.m. being like, oh my goodness, best day ever, just getting into bed now. And I was just like, what happened last night? Like it just like, and then I saw all these videos and like iPhone photos and like, iPhone videos and stuff like that from like just you guys going absolutely wild. And just, I was just like, oh my goodness.
I'm glad I didn't. I also sent a selfie of myself at like 6 a.m. or whatever it was to Megan, my makeup artist, being like, my makeup's still on. I'm glad that selfie wasn't disseminated amongst everyone. It was
definitely not alcohol-induced conversations either.
No way. We were so worried that it was just going to be like an awkward dinner party because there was only 20 people, and like me being from Queensland, Adrian from Sydney, our bridal party had never met before. So we were like, this could really just be a quiet event. And it was not. It was not a quiet event at all.
Definitely not.
Even like Adrian went on his bucks after the wedding. So between the pre-drinks the night before the wedding and then the wedding, which was huge, and then the recovery, which also might have kicked off a bit, Adrian and his groomsmen looked like absolute shells of humans going off to Adrian's bucks, and they were like, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. We did not think it would be this big.
Oh, it's so good. And like as I said, like this is such a good example for people potentially concerned about their wedding being, like you said, like a little bit boring, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think like it's definitely not the case at all. Did you, I guess, with the planning kind of like side of things, like did you have like an aim for like, I guess, the vibe or like the inspiration towards your like elopement? Did you have any ideas like what that looked like?
Yeah, we all, well, like whether it was a big wedding or micro wedding, we always wanted a very relaxed sort of vibe. Wanted it to feel like you're very much amongst friends. You're not walking into an Instagram wedding or anything like that. But having the micro wedding, it just totally opened up little things that we could do that were really special to us. And part of that was like, because it was a dinner party, essentially, we had both of our late grandmothers, their crockery and wine glasses, which was all these really ornate, beautiful, beautiful items. So able to do that, and we were able to make it so much more personal with everyone that we had invited. But yeah, no, I kind of stayed true to what we had planned for the big wedding, which was like a backyard party, essentially. But yeah,
and wasn't it just?
It was so. I remember your little setup actually for your reception, let's call it, or for your dinner party part of it. Like that was so beautiful too. Like just like a big table with everybody being able to see each other and sitting there and like having all like your I forgot about your grandmother's like and your grandparents like little bits and pieces, which is also like such a beautiful little special touch that like I think if you had a full size wedding, you definitely wouldn't have been able to do that because unless they had like the biggest collection in the world. No, not at all.
And our mums set that up like the day before, so it was all very, very special how everyone was involved. It was stressful a little bit for them, but I was chilling out the day before and just rocked up, and it was perfect. It was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. Well,
so good.
So, because you guys got married at Eagleview at Fox Ground, so like, tell us how that come about. So, how did you find Eagleview, and like, why did that become like the venue for Meg and Adrian's wedding?
We were very dictated by COVID restrictions, and at that time, you were allowed a maximum of 20-person gatherings within like a certain Sydney region, and we weren't allowed to cross too far out of Sydney. So that made it made it almost easier, because before that we had been looking at literally Wolgan Valley, we're looking at Uluru, we're looking everywhere. Like, where can we just get to? Like, if it's going to be this small, let's make it really special and something insane. And then because of border wars and whatnot, we couldn't do any of that. So the COVID restrictions made it really easy, almost. So we just looked up Airbnbs that could house 20 people, or where it could allow, small events and house a few people. And Adrian, actually, I'll have to give him credit, because he found Eagleview, because one of his rich ass friends just went there for like a weekend. He was like,
it's such a good spot though. Like, yeah, if you haven't seen the photos of this wedding or the video of this wedding, you definitely need to check it out. And we're going to stick it in our show notes so that you guys can go and see it. And I think from that, like me and Tim were saying, just we were chatting before you jumped on, Meg, is like your wedding has kind of become the like poster wedding for me and Tim over the last like year and a half, just purely because it was so epic. Everything just worked out so well. Like, I know, the shot of you guys walking down the aisle was just so like authentic and like legitimate. And like, I've always used like that photo is literally the like face of my website still, and the face of like my price guide as well still to this day. And I know every time me and Tim go to an expo, when we're at the expo together, like your wedding is always pumping on his like screens.
always. So
it is always played.
The people, we did not in any way expect to be like Instagram famous.
You also got to like shout it. We also got a bit of a post and a bit of a plug on Hello May magazine as well, which was pretty epic. Getting a blog post up on there with your wedding as well. So yeah,
what I love is that
exploded.
I totally feel responsible for like really bringing you guys together, and also Will and Holly. And
yes,
well, I was like, when we were all getting ready, you were all just chatting and like with the makeup and the hair, and you're like, hey, I've been wanting to work with you. And I was like, hi.
I hide you.
Yeah. We're just having a good old time, good old chin wag while you're just getting your makeup on and stuff. But yeah, such good vibes. And I guess let's just roll into like maybe some of that stuff that we were just talking about. Because like in terms of like vendors and stuff, like you had a lot of, we're not tooting our own horns here, just me and Tim, but you had like all your other vendors were freaking amazing. And like, me and Tim are lucky to work with these guys a lot, but how did you find your other vendors? Like, I'm not even gonna say who was your standout because I feel like everybody had their place on the day, but maybe just talk through the couple of your favorites that come to mind, and please talk about Will and Holly because those guys absolutely killed it for you.
I can't believe how it came together because it really felt like planning the original wedding in Brisbane. It felt so like, there were spreadsheets and they were like, I was comparing everyone and blah, blah, blah. And it felt like a labor. Like it wasn't really fun to put together. It was quite stressful. And then we were like, bugger it, like almost low expectations with this wedding. It was just like, we just need to get it done. It felt really last minute. So I found mostly everyone through Instagram and actually a lot of people through UMAP because I didn't know the area. I hadn't had enough time to stress myself into oblivion looking up every review and every display that they had. So we got a lot of people through you. Certainly Tim, because I was like, I just want someone that will just shoot and do what they're told, and then I'll put it together. And so certainly, look, I will give you some little kudos here, but I really thought that no one could put together a video like I could do it because I didn't think anyone would care as much as I would. So, and I've seen a lot of wedding videos, and to be honest, I was like, no, that's not for me. And then just the passion that you two had on the wedding day, like blew Adrian and I away. We were like, oh, what? Like you were more excited than we were.
We're the original hype men. Here we are.
We do get pretty excited.
Our brief was like, we don't like minimum time on photos. Like if you can get it done in 10 minutes, amazing. And then, because we hate having our photos taken, we are not photogenic. We've both got giant noses. So we were like, we have only very specific angles that you can get. And and then it was Adrian and Matt's like, do you want to go down there? And Adrian's like, yes, I want to go down there, take more photos. I was like, who is this person?
Is that when we took the bottle of champagne down the back paddock and like sprayed that? Yeah, that was so
amazing.
good.
We had a couple of bags of champagne. You guys, obviously, Will and Holly, like we contacted them saying, look, we don't know what the vibe is going to be. Like it could just be that you're in the corner playing some light tunes over dinner. But we wanted the option to have like a full-on dance floor if it came about. And I'd say that they are probably 80% of the reason why there was a dance floor of 20 people just in a living room floor. Like it so easily could have felt super weird, and they were the absolute best. And actually, side note, they're in Hamilton Island right now, and I've tried so hard to catch up with them, but like our stars haven't aligned.
And we're talking about Will and Holly here from Top Shelf Live. Just FYI, listening up there, make sure you check them out because those guys definitely bring the vibes and they are amazing.
Yes. And just to put a bit of context in this, like the dance floor at like 2 a.m. and the iPhone footage was freaking amazing. Like as soon as I seen it, I'm like, nah, I have to like put this into the film, and it just made it. It was so much fun.
That was a regret we had, was not keeping you around, because that's when like things just went wrong. Like as soon as like all the contractors had gone home, we got a little bit insane. So definitely should have had you there. But also maybe we shouldn't have had you there. I don't know if I want a lot of that footage in high def.
And obviously, so the other vendors you guys had as well. So like, just let's talk quickly about like, hair, makeup, maybe quickly, and your celebrant.
Look, I needed a lot of work to make this look okay. So I got makeup by Megan, who had incredible reviews, and she was just really, really, she's a master of her craft. And Chelsea for my hair, and she was like one of my bridesmaids, does her, like she's incredibly stunning, knows how to do all her hair and all that stuff, all that girly stuff. And she was just raving about her, saying, I've never seen a hairdresser that can like that morning she viewed some inspo that we all had for our own hair, and she perfectly recreated all of it. So much so that my friend was like, "Will you come to New Zealand for my wedding?" It was just, and all so lovely. Like, you don't realize that like creating the vibe of the morning is so important. Like, you don't want anyone else adding to any sort of stress or whatever. And they were just amazing. And then 𝘸𝘸𝘸 Florals did an incredible job. Like, because can you hear that, baby?
A little bit.
It's okay. That's all right. Just keep rolling with it.
This is why I drink. 𝘸𝘸𝘸 Florals. 𝘸𝘸𝘸 Florals was incredible. Like, we didn't want like a Kim K sort of like floral extravaganza. We really wanted it to blend in with the setting that we had and just complement what was already there. She was incredible. Like, I don't think we gave such a brief to all of our vendors, and everyone were just such masters of their craft that we didn't have to hover or micromanage or give any extra direction. Everyone knew exactly what the brief was and what the vibe was and nailed it.
That's such an important part, I feel like, that's like for everybody out there, like worrying about, I guess their wedding and feeling like you have to micromanage. It all comes down to making sure you have the right people as part of your day. And, and that's not just from, me and Tim being like talking photo and video. Like, that's like you said just then, like from the start of the day, from hair and makeup and who you get there to make sure that they're at like the same level as you and they understand that you obviously have to trust their craft too, to make sure that your day is going to be epic, regardless if you have 20 people at your wedding or 150, 300 people at your wedding. The vibe starts from the second I guess your vendors walk in the door.
Yeah, the morning brief is almost like prefaces the entire day as well. And like the next question we're going to ask you is like, what made your wedding day so amazingly epic, right? And I think you've kind of already answered it. Like, it's just a combination of everything. Like, you guys had very minimal stress, and such a minimal approach to the day, and almost let's just worry about getting married and that's it. Like, we've already got our vendors, let the vendors look after, looking after their own craft. And it kind of just all came together because you had such a relaxed attitude about it all. Like, it was just phenomenal. Like, it really was. And there was no directing per se on Matt and I's behalf, because it was just so much fun.
No,
I think we did have to pull you away because you guys, I want to get back to the party. Like, no, 5 more minutes. Yeah. We'll take the champagne bottle out.
Yeah, that's how you get us. Come on. Which is a very effective tool. But no, I think our trick was low expectations. You just go in expecting, because it was also last minute. We were really lucky in that. I don't know. It was just, I just was able to have that trust with everyone because I knew that you were all incredible. And it's when someone kind of, how do you say, not that they slip up, but, if you do feel like you have to worry about someone, then that's all you're focused on. Like, even if they're doing a good job, you're like, should you be getting this? Should you be getting that? Like, you're missing out on that. So
even if they are only there just to shoot, right?
Only there to shoot. That's how it works out.
And in the end, just FYI, I don't know if we've painted the picture yet, but Tim did edit this wedding in the end. The whole conversation was at the halfway through the wedding, Tim went up to her and was like, I have to edit it to also cover for me.
Well, because we did a test, right? We did a test. I'm like,
okay, the teaser.
So let me do a teaser, and if you're happy with the teaser, let me look after the wedding.
The best job interview I have.
Yeah. Use that for all future jobs, Meg.
Oh, ridiculous. And I did not, even when you were talking to me mid in the wedding, I was like, no, I really want to do it. And then it was even when you were leaving and you were like, no, you went the back route. You went to my husband. That's what you did. If you went to Adrian, you're like, you've got to let me edit it. You've got to convince her. And he's like,
no, because I think it was your mum. Was it? I think your mum or Adrian's mum that come up to me and said, I don't think Meg should be editing this. I'm like, I know. Let's make a plan and
collusion.
So good. So good.
No,
sorry,
Oh,
go.
no, you
You're
go.
right.
I was going to go on more of the micro wedding route, or is that
Yeah, go for it.
huge advocate for the micro weddings? I think it was never something that we wanted or planned. Like we had the big 200-person wedding, and a lot of that is because, you go to all of your friends' weddings and you just want them there to celebrate with you on your day. And there is kind of a social media these days, kind of more like an underlying stress to go like bigger and better. And, you need to have something that looks great and surprise your guests and whatnot. But COVID actually helped us accidentally rediscover what weddings are actually about, which is it is just about you and your husband, and I think your families and them joining together. And we were so lucky that that was not what we wanted. We had such low expectations, and we still had the 200-person party after this because we'd already booked all those vendors and everything. And this 20-person wedding still just blew that out of the water. It was
That is
the absolute
amazing.
best. So if anyone is ever hesitating, or even if you have like half a thought, I don't think you can go wrong doing it. Like if you are even 5% inclined to have a small wedding with just family, just friends, then I think you have to do it.
Yeah, and like it's a really big thing that we're like huge advocates of, and it's just like stopping, having to think about what's important, and then just choosing those vendors that can allow it to happen, like remove the stresses, like just do things the way you want it, like make it epic in your own way. Yeah, you're right. And like a big 200-person wedding, like, man, like you can just think about it, right? It sounds so stressful. Like, give us a bit of a rundown of what that looked like. So that was up back in Brisbane at home.
Yeah, that was in our backyard. And so what we ended up doing is we still had the little ceremony and had my godfather actually officiate it. He was terrified that the Lord above would strike him down for impersonating a clergyman. He held a dictionary in his hand instead of a Bible.
That's so good.
This was Punch, who was at our small wedding, so you would have met him. He is an absolute crack up. And so we had that, and then Adrian and I walked down the aisle together and still had a bit of a spiel, and to make people remember that it was actually a wedding we were there for, not just to piss up. And yeah, like it was still so much fun, but the stress of having to go around to everyone, like all your friends, have some FaceTime, and the day flew by when you're trying to just spend 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. And it's a lot of box ticking. I found the big wedding to be, whereas the micro wedding was just so organic, and we could have so much more room to play with the schedule and spend longer here. Oh, let's do this earlier, because you're not herding sheep trying to be like, okay, now we're doing this, now we're doing that. And it was just so organic, and we just were totally present and in the moment, where I didn't feel like we were or could be for the giant wedding.
You guys are such a good example as well, because you did both. Like, and this is such so good to hear, and it's so refreshing to hear like your thoughts on both of them. And yeah, like I think it's amazing. I have a little question that I want to ask, because I was just, as I said before, I was kind of bouncing through all of your like photos and stuff again, just reminiscing, reminding myself about what happened on the day. And
how good you are.
Yeah, not really, but I was just like, I was just frothing on like how good these photos turned out. Like, I feel like this is a real turning point for me too, and just some of like the style and stuff that I wanted to do. And but I remember there's a few moments, and one of the moments that I loved was, and I want you to talk about it, is like the MG, the car that your dad, had there for you. You guys flying up the driveway. Yeah. Let's talk about that quickly, and how that all came about.
Well, I'd like to say that it was me, but it was more Dad and his crown and glory. So he has lovingly restored that car for who knows how many years, and has actually probably spent more money on it than my private school tuition. So it had to be featured. And no, I was so excited for it. And even that forest green was just so perfect that it fit in with the environment that we were in. Like, it wasn't like a wanker red or something. It was just, it looked like it was meant to be there. And so he towed it down on the trailer from Queensland, and
Commitment.
yeah, oh, big time. And it was either that or rocking up in a boat, but there was no direct streams to the top of the hill, so we had to go with the MG. And yeah, no, he brought the MG down, and it was so special that just Dad drove me to the wedding. Like, we didn't have a driver up the front or anything. It was just him and I, and just
with the top down.
Oh yeah, with the top down. And there was a half second.
I remember
like,
it.
And I was like, oh.
Sorry, Chelsea.
It looked beautiful before I left. Yeah, no, top down, driving along, and that's when the nerves really started to hit in a little bit, where you're just not surrounded by this hustle and bustle anymore. It's just you and your dad, and he had surprisingly the most beautiful reactions when he saw me in that little reveal that caught us both off guard. Caught all my bridesmaids off guard. Like, you made
and your mum too, I think.
Mess.
Your mum was a mess too.
It was, it was really, really special. And so that was another thing that we could do that was, a touch of us. So you just think about what you've got in your life, and I understand not everyone has. It's an MG. God, I sound like a wanker at the moment.
While she's on a boat in the Bahamas. And
I'll have you know, this is actually, I'm on mat leave unpaid, so this is really the savvy financial decision for me. I'm not paying.
Thanks, Mum and Dad. You are on mat leave. You're on your parents' mat leave, paid by them. Love that. And with just go back to the car as well. Like, I remember you were talking to your dad, and you're like, can I drive it? And you end up like literally jumping in. You end up like getting in the car, and you guys had some epic photos in the car as well and around the car. And like, some of them are like my favorite photos ever.
It was so much fun because Adrian, I don't think he's ever been in that car. And of course, he was like folding up like a pretzel trying to get in.
Well, you didn't allow him to drive it because I remember we're like, oh, let's actually use the MG as part of the like in the portrait session.
And you're like, I'm driving it.
It's so much fun. Dad almost never lets me drive it. Like, taking advantage.
Even if it was only like about 100 meters in a circle.
We went up and down. We went up and down that hill. So.
It was so good. It was such a good time. And there were so many good moments from this wedding. And look, is there anything, like, I feel like we've already kind of maybe touched on this a little bit, but anything we haven't touched on, or maybe that you want to reiterate in terms of like, it's been a year and a half, a bit more. Looking back and obviously talking about it again today, like, is there anything that you were like super glad you did, other than obviously stoked that you did the micro wedding part of it? Is there anything else that you're like, I'm so stoked that I did that, and that you and Adrian are so thankful for today?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is something we didn't do, which was have kids before the wedding, which Mum wanted me to do. Like, she was like, do not have children. She was like, no, Mum was saying, have kids now. Like, just have kids now and you can have the wedding later. And I was like, no, because then your life is about children. So it was so nice to just go full steam ahead, and just, it was come what may sort of situation. Where, zero, like low expectations, high, what's that saying? I'm going to either blame baby brain or this second glass of champagne on that. But no, just being very much go with the flow. And Matt, I know you said before our wedding, you're like, if it rains, because it was a very high chance of raining as well, you were like, it's just so dependent on your attitude towards it. And to be honest, when you said that, I was like, no. I'll be upset if it rains if I want to. And it did end up raining for part of that night. But no, it's what you can do. Like, and looking back on the photos is so important. And I would say that that's, if anyone looking to plan a wedding, like where you allocate your funds for a vendor, it would be towards photography and videography, like 100%, because I know that, being in the day is so important, but the memories of the day and preserving that, because it does go so fast and there's so much that happens that you have no idea happened, and having that recorded is so special, and you have them forever. So and I've seen, Matt, a couple of the photos you've done with people where it's been pissing down and looks, quite frankly, miserable. They have these incredible photos and then memories to call on. So it is so much about your attitude towards the day, and you just can't. You've got very much got to go with the flow.
Yeah, we drive that home a lot. That it attitude, your attitude towards the day is so vital, and it's exactly why this wedding I think received so much praise, and why we actually had this wedding published with 𝘸𝘸𝘠𝘬 and featured with 𝘸𝘸𝘠𝑚𝑎, and it's because there was minimal expectations. You guys just wanted to have fun, and it was so baller. We had an absolute ball with you guys. Everything was just fun and amazing. Nothing was, I suppose, when we, throughout the day, there was no real poses per se. It's just let's have a bit of fun, do this, let's go there, do this. One of my favorite parts is actually popping the champagne, because Adrian couldn't do it, right? It just made for such a good video, and it just set the tone as well for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and look, and those moments there as well, popping the champagne, having fun with everybody, and even the way that you, I guess, styled, with your bridesmaids and your groomsmen. So Adrian wore a different suit to the groomsmen, and then all the bridesmaids wore. I'm assuming they wore. You had a brief for them, which I'm assuming was florals bright.
Yeah, florals and just whatever they felt comfortable in, because I've been a bridesmaid before, where you're in a dress that you hate and feel terrible in, and then what's that going to bring out of the day? So I wanted everyone to be comfortable, and I think that's the only thing that I did kind of micromanage, was everyone finding the dresses, was because I didn't want 3 green and then 1 yellow or something. So just kind of let everyone go, and I was like, just bring me back a few that you like, and then we'll piece them together and put it
looks so good
together. I loved it.
It looks epic,
really,
yeah. And with Jess's flowers too, it all just works so well. Some of those photos of you girls together was definitely my favorite for sure, which was I think that definitely made the day just that little bit different, a little bit more special. And at the time, I don't think I'd shot many weddings that had different colored dresses, or not all being the same kind of I guess traditionally that we would do.
Yeah. Now, and you guys, the vibe, it's a two-way street. It was reverberating off us both. It was really only when you two were kind of getting so ridiculously excited about this wedding that we were like, oh, maybe it is good. I don't know. We've had a wedding before.
I suppose with our job, we kind of know straight away when things are just working well. And it wasn't because of the light, it wasn't because of anything else other than the fact that your attitude was just absolutely on point, and that just got us so excited. I knew straight away, I'm this is actually going to be so amazing. And before we even spoke about doing the video or whatever, I'm just this is going to be wild, because creating photos and film that's so reflective of your personality, that's where the magic source is. And that's really where I found, making a film and and on a photo side, showcasing photos that are so reflective of the day and your personalities on the day. That's where it's at.
Well, I'm actually not a super relaxed person. I would not. For the first wedding, I had spreadsheets. And when everyone says embrace the weather, I was like, no, I'm going to be miserable because I want a perfect day. Don't tell me how to be. But no, it was, the people that you surround yourself with on the morning of is so important. And if you've got a mother-in-law that's micromanaging or stressing you out or something. Luckily, I love my mother-in-law, Fran, if you ever never watch this, but
we'll send this to her.
Your mum will definitely listen to this though, for sure. She's your number one fan.
Oh, she's your number one heckler. So
yeah, that's true. When we got those prints done, oh my goodness, I was on the phone to her for weeks. Best friends.
Right. Oh yeah. But no, I forgot what we were talking about.
That's right. Well, so tell us what life's like now that you're married. You know, you're living on a boat in the Bahamas, sipping cocktails all day.
This is my life, day in and day out. You know, I definitely didn't like make you hold off doing this podcast with me, so I could just have this as my background. No, life these days. Well, it's very different. It's obviously we've got a 4.5-month-old little baby Indiana, and that's,
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like you should be congratulating my obstetrician because I ended up having to have a cesarean because I couldn't walk for the last 2 months of my pregnancy. I had a twisted pelvis. It was miserable. So anyway, he got her out, but I cooked her. That was all me. And
wasn't Adrian.
Well done, Adrian. Well done.
He had no part in it. Him and his useless nipples now. Contributed. So married life is looking very different. Like there's not as much time for ourselves, which is par for the course, but that'll come back. But no, it's very special having this new little chapter of our lives together, and I'm so grateful that we had the wedding. Like for us, it was really, and one of my bridesmaids said it, which was so beautiful, was our wedding was not just about us. It was truly about two families coming together, and especially having that smaller wedding and watching everyone meet each other and really intertwine and get to know. Like there was no, the boys just being off with the boys. It was everyone mingling together, and selfishly it was very much all about us, so it was just incredible,
so damn good. And as I said, like, and I feel like this whole podcast has just been about how much we loved being a part of your day, and yeah, it's so good to reminisce on that. And yeah, look, we really appreciate the fact that you picked people that brought you joy and that you trusted your vendors that you had a part of your day too, which has been which I think the one thing you get out of that is do a micro wedding or do a elopement if you want to do it. And B is like, make sure you have people there that are going to support you, support your vibes, and really help your day become amazing.
And be your hype woman, hype man.
Yeah, hype the day up for sure. But look, Meg, we know that you
bag as well.
We really
full of bobby pins and.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't used my bobby pin little bum bag for a while, but it's definitely something. It helps when my little sister's a makeup artist, so and does a little bit of hair, so taught me a few tricks of the trade to be able to help out on the day and just make that hair look pretty.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to be a bit of a jack of all trades. I remember I take a veil out at least every wedding. I take someone's veil out too. We just got to learn some of this stuff. It's part of the trade.
Absolutely.
But, Meg, we know that you are living the dream on your boat. I feel like we've said that a lot of time, and it's not your boat, it's your parents' boat, but that's okay. We know you've got a bubba that you have to get back to. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
I don't have to get back to her. We could just stay and chat.
And keep sipping on your cocktail there, living the dream. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, Meg. And we hope that all our listeners out there have got something out of the podcast today. And if you guys are thinking about eloping and worried about that, hopefully this has changed your mind a little bit.
Let this be the catalyst to prove to you that micro weddings can be absolutely phenomenal, amazing, stress-free, and it's really a more personalized approach to an intimate wedding.
And do both. Like, have the micro wedding and then have a party later. Like, if you want to tick that box. Like, I've had a couple of friends that had the micro wedding, the next day showed up with a bolo and invited the big 150 kind of guests. Like, you can have both worlds. Just have a big gathering at the pub, but have the micro wedding, I think.
That's a great idea.
So good. Well, Meg, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on to the Make It Epic Wedding podcast. And we really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to hang out, have a drink sometime soon and reminisce some more.
Please. Well, we're just at a small island off Hamilton. So if you can get here in the next few hours, we've got some drinks for you. But no, I'm your biggest stan. Like, I stan you guys so hard. You are absolutely incredible. And especially for me to relinquish the reins to video editing my own wedding it really says enough. So no, you're both incredible.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Look, the pressure was on. I'll admit, the pressure was really on.
And we'll see you in Hamilton Island in approximately 3 hours. We're just going to go jump on the plane.
Yeah, I've got a private plane in my backyard. I'm just going to go jump on it now.
Pick me up on the way through, please, Tim.
The back, so.
Oh my goodness! Well, thank you, Meg.
Meg was
You're
not joking then.
Oh, we could talk all day, but thank you so much. We appreciate it. You take care, and we will speak to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.